Yo, what's up, guys? It's your boy, Keyshawn Uchiha, the myth, the legend, the motherfucking guy who ends up in every universe from, you could say, random inconvenience, but the only galaxy god, Keyshawn Uchiha. What's up, guys? How y'all doing? And today we're gonna do part 4 of What If Naruto Was a Hoe. Now, I'm sorry that I haven't really posted a video all day, and it's like almost nighttime for me, but it's still daytime. Yeah, you could say it's like 7 or something, but pretty much, yeah, you could say it's nighttime, but in Boston. But let's forget about that and let's get these videos done today. Now, this will be one of the videos that y'all wanted me to do due to the broadcast I was posting up. This will be part 4 of What If Naruto Was a Hoe. Now, I had to look at the whole video and make sure that I haven't forgot no names or forgot about anything, or make sure nothing wasn't forgotten. Now, pretty much we're gonna do a quick recap and we're gonna get to new parts. So where we last pretty much left up, Naruto pretty much, uh, Naruto, I forgot her last name, but we're gonna say female Naruto. Pretty much female Naruto, have, or we're gonna say Kushina Uchiha, her new identity. Pretty much, Rasengan, or you could say defeated Gar and pretty much used the Takuno Jutsu on him. Pretty much turned him into a good guy. And he also grew some feelings for her while he was leaving. She also helped out Lord Hiruzen, or you could say the Hokage Hiruzen, from almost getting the dust beat crap out of him, and almost had to sacrifice itself to stop Orochimaru, which Orochimaru pretty much got his ass whooped by Naruto-chan. That's her name, Naruto-chan. And leading to that, the village was pretty much saved and was thanked, which she was thanked for. Now, right now, she is pretty much about to go find out Lady Tsunade and trying to have her become Hokage. That's pretty much it of the quick recap. Let's get to new parts. Now, pretty much, of course, as they're getting ready to go, this is where they pretty much is going and stuff. This is where Sasuke and Haku runs and pretty much asks Kushina Uchiha where she's going, which she pretty much, hugs both of them. Pretty much hugs both of them and tells them that she'll be alright and she'll be fine. She's gonna go. She's gonna go and pretty much go get Lady Tsunade to bring back to be Hokage. While uh while she's gone, she's going to make sure to get that done, and she's gonna be back to help them out and to train with them. Which Haku and Sasuke is very excited and wiggling like dogs. You could say like that. And I'm using that as a reference, but they're really bummed that they can't come with her because, like I said, they have a liking to her as they want to. Well, Sasuke wants to repopulate the Uchiha village with her because she has the Uchiha DNA. But not only that, he likes her. He really likes her. And Haku, he doesn't know what's his feeling he's feeling with her, but he also likes her too. So it's kind of as a love triangle. Sakura's in there too. Mm, but Sakura, she wants to get strong to outdo the boys, so she can ask for her love and affection, you could say. Now, since you got the quick triangle recap, uh, let's continue. Now, this is where Haku and Sasuke, says alright, and they pretty much go off and train in their way to get strong. For her sake, you could say. Because she pretty much was saving the ass for pretty much a long run. Now, of course, this is where X, uh, you could say, Donzo's grandson, yeah, you could say grandson, pretty much sends, Kushina and Minato, the clones, to watch over Naruto-chan. Because he knows her identity, her new identity, and what she looks like. So they're pretty much going and looking after her. But this is when they begins to gain more memories as they're, watching over her. Which Minato is pretty much holding his head and, trying to get away with this headache, but he's remembering. And Kushina's pretty much remembering too, saying, "What is wrong with you, Minato?" Which Minato's saying, "I don't know, but I'm getting all these memories of 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 my life, of this person. I think I was the Hokage before I before I died, which Christina's saying, yeah, I think I was your wife. Which they both is getting memories, slowly bits, but they begin to start to remember over and over, like getting more memories back. Now, as that's happening, this is where, they still following and they get memories back. But we're gonna switch back to Naruto-chan. Now she begins to walk with Jiraiya and talking to Jiraiya. Now Jiraiya is pretty much explaining to her that why he doesn't want to become Hokage because it would mess up on his research, but also that he still is, feel like he's not ready yet to become Hokage. But he knows he would be a good Hokage. He just doesn't want to become Hokage yet because he's a busy person, which pretty much Naruto Chan looks at him and pretty much makes that face saying, yeah, a busy pervert. Which Jiraiya didn't hear that, but they continue going. Now, as they're going, this is where they go look at. They find this specific town and they go in. Now, as they're going in, this is where they hear a lady. This is where Lady Shinadi is pretty much screaming and saying, another drink, please," like pretty much laughing and stuff. Now, this is where Jiraiya walks in and he sees Lady Shinadi. Pretty much, Lady Shinadi saying, "Oh, what do you want, you you little toad?" Which she's insulting him. Basically, you could say that. I don't know what the best insult she would basically say to Jiraiya, but probably a toad because Jiraiya mess with toad is with the toads and stuff. But pretty much, yeah. She's making a harassment and begins to talk down to Jiraiya, saying, "I'm not going to become a Hokage that who failed to protect the village like you, and that's why you came to me because you know you would be a failure Hokage. I'd be the best." Which this is where you could say Kachino Uchiha or Naruto-chan. We're just gonna say Naruto-chan gets up and says, "Don't talk to my master Jiraiya like that." Which this is where Lady Tsunade looks and says, "Oh, look like the little kitty. Look like your little pet kitty wants to protect you and your honor." Which this is where she says, "Come outside. I'll challenge you." Which Lady Tsunade says, "Huh, okay." Now this is where they're outside now, and pretty much this is where Naruto-chan makes her bet with Lady Tsunade. She bet if she can manage to injure injure Lady Tsunade, she will become the next Hokage, and she will say sorry to Jiraiya. But if she loses, then Jiraiya will become the next Hokage and pay your tab, which Jiraiya does a big gulp because Lady Tsunade tab is quite big for her drinking habits. Now, this is where Jiraiya said remark is said go, and this is where this is where Naruto Chan she begins to form the Makekyo Sharingan. Now, as she begins to form a Makekyo Sharingan in one eye and the Byakugan in the next eye. Now, this is where she at charged at Lei Tsunade, which Lei Tsunade is doing a hit, but for some reason her punches is going much slower. But she can see and she doesn't know what's going on until she backs up. Now, this is where Lei Tsunade is saying, "What's wrong? Afraid that I'm gonna punch your face off," which Lei Tsunade is saying she was way too quick. If I wanted to punch her face off, I couldn't touch her. I couldn't see her that fast. Which this is where Naruto Chan begins to think of what the hell's going on and why is everything like slow to her. Now this is where of course she charged forward again and okay, sorry guys, I had to get my clothes, but let's focus. Pretty much, yeah, yeah. Naruto Chan, she's pretty much concentrating, trying to figure out why it's everything's so slow to her. Until she realized that it's not slow to her. Everything's moving. She's incredibly fast right now. Now this is where she begins to blitz Lei Tsunade by throwing a bunch of kunai, which Lei Tsunade has to quickly dodge, which everything's going fast, which Jiraiya doesn't know what the hell's going on, including Lei Tsunade. It's only Naruto Chan she knows what's going on. This is where she begins to blitz everywhere, and she forms her Rasengan. but she forms it in a different way. As she's forming the Rasengan, this is where she goes right behind Lady Shinade and hits her in the back with it and sends her flying to a tree. Now, of course, Lady Shinade gets knocked out, but Naruto-chan begins to heal her. Because Naruto-chan knows some medical ninjutsu. Because ever since that whole Orochimaru encounter, she begins to learn some medical ninjutsu. So she begins to start healing Lady Shinade, which Lady Shinade thinks they're in, pretty much agrees that she lost and also says sorry to Jiraiya. Now, later that night, Jiraiya and Lady Shinade has that night, and you guess what happens. She pretty much poisoned the drink and wait for the next day. Now, as next day comes, this is where she's talking to Orochimaru, and Orochimaru was already ahead of Naruto, Chan, and Jiraiya. Begins to start talking, saying, "Yes. So, would you agree to help me out, and I can kill Jiraiya for what he did?" Now, of course, this is where Lady Shinade begins to think and says no, that she's not going to uh, accept the deal. Which Orochimaru said, "That's a shame. Look like I'm still going to have to get rid of you since you're going to become Hokage." Now, this is where, of course, Jiraiya comes and stops the way, but he realizes he's not in his fully prime. And only Naruto-chan can see the poison that's seeping inside. So she begins to start form three clones. Yeah, let's say three clones to heal Jiraiya, while she begins to start the fight with Jiraiya and helps out Lady Tsunade. Now, Lady Tsunade is pretty much, still out of it, shocked by what Orochimaru said, saying that it's all her fault and stuff. Which this is where Naruto tells her to snap out of it, and she don't know what happened, but she needs to get over it, the death, and it's not her fault. Which she begins to start pulling herself together a little bit more. Now, Naruto-chan, she begins to start fighting with Orochimaru, which Orochimaru, he is, equipped to analyze. So he begins to dodge her attacks and stuff, but this is where she pretty much does a slide kick. Well, pretty much touch Orochimaru and kicks him back. And she begins to start throwing kunai everywhere. Now, she begins to throw a kunai up in the sky, and 1,000 kunais begins to fall everywhere. Orochimaru backs up and says, "Why you was throwing a bunch of kunai everywhere? You barely hit me," begins to start laughing. This is where Naruto-chan begins to smile and says, "I wasn't aiming for you," and begins to form the Mangekyo Sharingan and begins to form the Byakugan. Now, this is where she begins to warp everywhere. Well, incredibly fast. Well, you could say this is where Orochimaru gets stabbed in the back, which Orochimaru begins to fall down, which his servant saying, "Lord Orochimaru, what the hell? What happened?" Which Orochimaru says, "Don't put your guard down," which she begins to knee him in the face, send him flying out into a tree. And this is where she begins to Rasengan his servant, Orochimaru's servant in the gut, sending him even more flying into other more trees. Now, this is where Orochimaru doesn't even know what the hell is going on and doesn't know what's really going on. And I'm going to explain what is happening right now. So, Naruto-chan, Mangekyo Sharingan, is a different than all the Uchihas. This one has the power to kind of slow down time and make time go forward, only to the user, as she can be faster than anyone else, and she can also slow down time. So she can kind of freeze people in time and do other time abilities things, but it's very powerful. As you're seeing right now, she's probably being quicker than the eye can see. You think she's using the flying Raijin technique, but no, she's not using the flying Raijin technique. She's basically using it at the same time. So basically, that makes her even more deadlier. You could say right now. Now, pretty much, Orochimaru is trying to figure out what the hell is going on and why is she so crazy quick right now. And he's really confused because there's not one technique that he stole from the Leaf Village secretly without knowing. So he doesn't know what's going on. Now, this is where Minato begins to see you could say see orange flickers, you could say, by the key eye, and he begins to get all his memories back, and he begins to remember everything, including Kushina, and they begin to say, "We remember. That's our daughter." which they begin to start crying. They begin to start crying because they remember their daughter and how they died and what really happened. Now, as this is happening, this is where Orochimaru begins to think, and he begins to summon a big snake, and he hops on top of it. Now, as he hops on top of it, he's pretty much smiling, saying, "I give you that. You pretty much almost had me there, but I'm gonna have to thank you. By the way, what is your name again?" "Ah, yeah, Kachino Uchiha. Thanks for that. But now you have to die." Which this is where the snake he begins to summon the snake to go and try to eat Naruto-chan. But this is where she throws 1,000 kunais, well, one kunai at the snake, and this is where she blitzes the snake, which the snake begins to get shred in pieces. Which Orochimaru begins to about to fall off his snake until Lady Tsunade runs up and punches Orochimaru in the face, sending him flying out the area. Now, after that's done, pretty much Naruto-chan asks Lady Tsunade if she's alright, which she says yeah, she's perfectly fine. And also asks if Jiraiya's alright, which Jiraiya says she did great out there for his apprentice. Which Lady Tsunade saying, "That's your apprentice?" Which Jiraiya smiles and says, "Yeah, she is my apprentice." Which this is where Minato and Kushina begins to leave and go back and report what happened. Now, as they're returning back to the village with Lady Tsunade, Sasuke and Haku begins to come back and say, "Welcome back, uh, welcome back, Kushina Uchiha. You ready for the training?" Which she smiles and says, "Yeah, let's see what I got." Which they both smile in happiness, including Sakura too because she's there. Now we're gonna switch back to X. Now X is pretty much is now in the lab getting all the data and what happened and stuff, and he's pretty much excited that he sees what happened and pretty much saying she's getting stronger, stronger than I can even believe for. Now of course this is where a person comes in. Person comes in and he's a little bit different. This is kind of as Kishan Uchiha, but not as Kishan Uchiha. This is Scientist Kishan, which he begins to walk in and says, "Huh, does it look like your lab rat was a success?" Which X pretty much saying, "What are you doing here, Kishan?" "Well, you could see I'm here to help. I realize that your experiment was a success, given to the need of all that." Now, of course, this is where X begins to talk to Kishan. Not Kishan Uchiha, but Kishan Scientist. A different Kishan. Now, they begins to start talking to each other and stuff, and X begins to say, "Well, her power is going snappily, getting much stronger each minute. I don't know what's going to happen next, but she's getting powerful." Which this is where Kishan begins to sit down and think and says, "Huh, so you're telling me. So you're telling me that she's the perfect weapon that your father was hoping for?" Which begins to talk and says, "Yes." This is where Kishan gets up and says, "Well, can't help it, but my experiment will be my experiment will be done, and she will challenge. She will want to challenge and see who's the far superior experiment, X." Which X smiles and says, "Good luck with that." Which Kishan smiles and says, "Yeah, I will," and walks out the secret laboratory. Now, of course, we're gonna switch back to Naruto-chan. Now, Naruto-chan is at home, pretty much at home, and because she got her own house, but pretty much at home, by herself, reading a book. But this is where she gets a knock at the door. Well, not a knock at the door. She pretty much hears people in her house. Now, this is where she throws a kunai at one of the one of the walls, and this is where Minato pretty much takes off his Amu mask, or his you could say his mask, and pretty much says, "Daughter, is that you, Naruto-chan?" Which Naruto-chan begins to say, "How do you know my name? Who are you?" Which this is where Kushina and Minato comes out, and they begins to run and hug her, saying, "Our daughter, you've grown so well." Which she pretty much gets a question about saying, "You're my mom and dad. How can y'all be my mom and dad?" Which they begins to explain everything and how did they die up to the point because they have their memories all the way up to they die. They don't have no future memories, no prior memories of like of the after death experience. It's just these are the memories of how they died. Now, pretty much she started crying and hugging him back and believing them. And Minato and Kashina begins to explain that they are, you could say, lab experiments, but not as, failures or anything. They're as, you could say, clones. They know they're clones, but they know that they begin the second chance to take care of their daughter and stuff and ask for their forgiveness for dying, which Naruto-chan forgives them. Of course, she forgives her own mother and father. Now, of course, they begins to talk and stuff and having a family moment until we're gonna say the next day comes. Now, this is where this is gonna be the 2 year time skip. So yeah, it's about this is the you could say part right here. But pretty much the next day comes. This is where Naruto begins to head up top, and this is where as they're waiting for Kakashi, Sasuke pretty much is talking to Haku and Sakura and begins to say that he's not strong enough and he eventually he needs to get stronger to defeat his brother because back there he got saved again and he wants to get strong enough to protect the person he loves, but also he wants to get stronger. Now, this is where Haku agrees with him, but says this is not the right way. And this is where, of course, Naruto-chan walks up between both of them and see that they're having a fight. Now, of course, we're gonna say Sasuke has a cursed mark, so he gets the little bit upper hand and whoops Haku ass. Now, this is where Sakura telling uh, Sasuke stop, and this is where Naruto-chan steps in front of the way, and Sasuke asking her to please move, that he's gonna go, which she begins to stop him and say, "No, you're my, no, you, I won't let you, do this." Which this is where Sasuke begins to start throwing a fight with uh, Naruto-chan, but he loses pretty badly. Well, pretty much is losing. Which this is where Kakashi comes in and stop both of them. Now, this is where Orochimaru sends out his team to get Sasuke and Sakura, you could say. Now, as this is happening, this is where Sasuke is leaving, packing his stuff and getting ready to go. Well, getting ready to go. Now, as he's packing his stuff and getting ready to go, getting ready to go, this is where Sakura joins him. Because, like I said, Orochimaru wants both of them. Since he got both of them, he's not going to leave one of his experiments out with a cursed mark scot free. No, he's going to take both of them. He's probably just going to take Sakura and just to train her and to put Uchiha DNA in her just in case if uh, Sasuke doesn't fit the bill. He can take a woman's body. He doesn't care. Either way, he takes women or guy's body. We're just gonna say that as a confirmation. Now, as that's happening, Sakura begins to get taken away into a secret thing, and Orochimaru already got Sakura. Now, this is where Sasuke begins to start heading, and he's the only late person. And everything happens the same. This is where the final fight happens. Now, Naruto-chan is telling Sasuke to please not do this. They can work together to get strong. Work together to get strong, and we can defeat Itachi together. Now, this is where Sasuke says, "No, I have to get strong in my own way possible," and he doesn't. He doesn't want it. He doesn't want to stay here. They have nothing to offer, and she pretty much begins to get angry and begins to form her two different eyes and says, "Don't do this, Sasuke, or I'm gonna have to break your body and make sure you can't leave here." Which this is where Sasuke says, "I've been itching for a fight," and a fight commits, as you heard. Now this is where, of course, Sasuke. Now this is where, of course, Sasuke throws a bunch of kunais and shoots two fireballs, which uh, Naruto-chan begins to dodge two attacks. Sorry about that. I had to tell my sister to be quiet, but let's continue. Pretty much, yeah. Um, Sasuke those two kunai and shoots two fireballs, but doesn't really phase Naruto-chan because she dodges both of the kunais and pretty much use a wood style to pretty much counter those attacks. A wood barrier. Now, of course, this is where of course Sasuke is saying, what style? Is she a Senju? Does she have Senju DNA? Is she a part of the Senju clan? Now this is where he gets even more angry because he heard about the Uchihas and the Senjus not being really buddy buddy together. So he begins to start getting angry and transforming his third stage of Crush Mark. Now, due to the shock that Naruto-chan is witnessing that Sasuke transformed into a new form, he begins to get a little bit of the upper hand, you could say, and begins to start, you could say, throwing punches and catching her, connecting, and shooting two fireballs at her, which it hits. This is where she begins to tap in her range and says, Sasuke, don't make me do this, and begins to form a Rasengan. Just like you could say. Now, this is where, of course, she does a leap and charge at Sasuke, and Sasuke charges at her and pretty much does a clash. Just like anime. Now, everything happens the same, and she pretty much is knocked out. Which Sasuke pretty much is beside her, bringing her to land, and pretty much kisses her on the lips and says he's really sorry that he has to do this to her, and begins to leave. Which you can see a tear coming down her eyes, and Sasuke pretty much goes where Orochimaru and Sakura too, and pretty much gets off going. Now, Sakura, not Sakura. Naruto-chan wakes up by Minato, her father, carrying on her back, saying if she's alright, which she pretty much starts to cry with the Maikeki Sharingan and the Byakugan, saying no, she's not alright. How's she supposed to be strong if she can't protect the ones that she can't get the ones she loves and protect the ones she loves? Which pretty much you could say you could say you could say Minato begins to say it's okay. You can get him next time, which she begins to start crying even more. Now, we're gonna say a day passed, and this is where Jiraiya begins to talk to Lady Tsunade and asks if she can, uh, if she can, if he can take Naruto-chan with her. Also, with Minato and Kushina, because the word haven't came out that Minato and Kushina is back alive, but rumor is happening that the Hokage and Kushina is back alive, and people is trying to find out where they at. So it also Kushina and Minato is going with Naruto-chan to train her. So yeah, and since Kushina has the good side of the Kurama, so yeah, pretty much they can also do chakra control. I mean, tell beast training. Now they're all getting ready to go. This is where Haku tells Naruto-chan that he will be here waiting for her. Pretty much hugs her and pretty much kisses her on the cheek, telling her that he will be waiting here for her, but stronger. And also not Sakura, but this him. And he also says that he's gonna get stronger too for her, which she says all right and begins to head off. Now this is going to be the 2 time year skip, so I'm just gonna go ahead and forward to the 2 year time skip and give the little details of what's happening in the 2 year time skip, and then end the video off. Now, pretty much the 2 year time skips commits, and now this is Naruto Shippuden. Pretty much, Gar is at his, you could say at his sand village, pretty much doing, the Rokage? I don't know. I forgot what it is, but pretty much Gar's doing his thing until Deidara comes in. Now, we're going to say Gar's a little bit much smarter than this, and he has a sand barrier or sand shield around the land before, if he, we're going to say he has cameras and he knows who's a hostile threat or not. So this is where Deidara comes in, start flying, and about to try to bomb until he gets hit by a sand barrier and realize what the hell is going on. this is where he start throwing bombs everywhere and stuff and try to figure out what the hell's going on. And he's pretty much saying, What is this?" Until Gar is smiling, saying, "Huh, I knew they would come for me." But let's switch to Naruto-chan now. Now, this is where Naruto-chan, she's pretty much waking up while Minato and Kushina is pretty much up too. And we're gonna say they're 19 now. 19. Well, yeah, 19. But they're pretty much older than Naruto, you could say. Now, pretty much, Naruto is. She's pretty much getting up saying, "Ugh, this is painful," which Kushina says, "Come on, sweetheart, get up." Which Minato says, "Yeah." Which pretty much she gets up and Jiraiya is pretty much walking in and says, "Yeah, you gotta get up. It's time to head back to the Leaf Village," which she pretty much says, "For real?" Which all three of them says, "Yeah." Which she's pretty much excited and starts getting dressed. Now her entire setup is gonna be the same as Naruto's, but it's going to be, you could say, female version, kind of like the picture right now of her outfit. Now pretty much she starts, getting ready and heading back to the Leaf Village. And this is where she appears up top. It says "Home Sweet Home," pretty much smiling. Now we're going to switch to Sasuke and Sakura point of view. Now this is where Sakura has a little bit of different setup, but she begins to get up and pretty much take a deep breath and pretty much start walking. With Sharingan eyes. And she pretty much says, "Hey Sasuke, get up. It's time for our training." Which Sasuke pretty much wakes up too with the curse mark on the side of his neck saying, "So it's about that time, Sakura?" Which Sakura has a darker and different demeanor tone saying, "Yeah, it's that time." Which Sakura and Sasuke heads outside and begins to see like all the all the test subjects ready for them to test their power on. Which they begin to smile and says, "Huh, this is gonna be easy." Which Sasuke says, "Agree." Now, this is part 4 of What If Naruto Was a Hoe. If you like, leave a like, do all that stuff. But I'm Keisha Oshie, and thanks for watching. And I will begin doing the other videos, the 3 videos or 4, if I can. Yeah, peace out.
It looks like you lost another one.